Hey guys, my name is Mike and welcome to your weekly WoW. This week we're going to go over level 1 mounts, the winner of the 60-day time card giveaway, and also we're going to go have some fun at the fair. I hope you enjoy. So first up we have the news. Now I do have to admit that this week is honestly quite a slow news week, so there's not that much to talk about, but what little we have to talk about we'll go into quite in depth, so I hope you enjoy. So the first big piece of news I wanted to go over today was that Heirlooms have had something really cool added to them. As you can see, you get an achievement for collecting 35 heirlooms, which you just got. Once you earn this achievement, you'll be sent something in the post. If I ever manage to clear out bags, I might be able to find Molly so I can show you guys the letter. I'm really bad at keeping my posts like all organized. I don't know why, I'm just terrible with my bags. So there we go. You'll be sent a gift, a nice letter, which I'll let you guys read. And you get your clinking present. Unwrap it, and you get chauffeur chopper keys. So yeah, this is a bind on account mount like all others, and I'll just quickly show you it, if I ever manage to find it. I've got way too many mounts now. The PTR gives you so many mounts, like a lot of these I don't actually have. Like I don't have the alchemy dragon mount, but it's giving me that for some reason. And yeah, there's the cool chauffeur chopper. As you can see, it's driven by the swankiest of orcs. Seems to move at 100% mount speed, as you would expect. And you just ride around a little sidecar, which is cool. But what's really interesting about this mount is that it is summonable by a level 1 player. As you can see there, I'm on my level 1 gnome, and I'm being chauffeured around by the Alliance version of the mount. You get both versions, so you don't have to collect 35 heirlooms twice or anything dumb like that. You do get the mount basically transforms. So yeah, it looks really, really cool. I actually kind of prefer the Alliance version, and I feel heretical for that. But yeah, you get to move around at 100% mount speed on a level 1 ult, which is really, really handy. And I don't have too big a problem with this, because, you know, if you got 35 heirlooms, which I believe cost me somewhere in the region of 20,000 gold to collect on the PTR, you've probably got a main, and as such, you know, I don't have a problem with people using this on their ults at level 1. You know, a level 1 mount for your ults is fine. It seems to move 100% whilst you're on the level 1 as well, which is really cool. And just showing off the mount for the Horde Blood Elf side. And works exactly the same as it did on my Undead. It's just really, really handy to have. And, you know, if you've leveled enough accounts, you know how painful it is. And I just quickly want to show you on the Badaran, but because they don't have a faction, they can't ride it. So yeah, I assume that once you pick a faction for the Pandaren, you can ride that mount, but until then, he's going to have to walk. That poor little tubby bear. There have also been quite a few changes made to the Darkmoon Faire, however, I'm going to go over those in much more detail in bits and bobs, so if you just wait for that segment, you'll find out some more. Now we have the last ever episode of the Ulduar Flying Solo Raid Guides. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I know that a lot of these bosses have been very much just tank and spank, and I am sorry about that, but these last two bosses are a little bit more interesting for you, so I genuinely hope you enjoy, and I hope you enjoy your Rusted Proto Drakes. So this week we're going to be finishing up our Glory of the Ulduar Raider achievements. We're going to start off with General Vizax. First of all, you're going to want to clear the room with him, simply because I think one of the mobs in here can actually mind control you. And if you get mind controlled in a solo boss, it will just reset the whole thing, and it's a pain in the arse. So yeah, just clear out. Obviously with single target damage, you don't want to accidentally AoE General Vizax to death, that would be a pain. Now, the whole idea with his achievement, which is I love the smell of Saradnite in the morning, is that he will occasionally summon these gas clouds around the room. He'll summon one every 30 seconds. Now, once 6 of these things have spawned, they'll form together into a big mob. Now, obviously that means that this achievement takes 3 minutes to do. I'm actually going to skip a little bit because I mostly spend this video running around in a big circle. I don't even know if I need to actually run around and kite him, but I was a little bit paranoid after that mind control mechanic, so I just wanted to make sure it didn't happen again. But after a bit of reading, it does seem as though it might be from one of his mobs, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. Now, you might have seen the text flash up in the middle of the screen there. That shows me that he's actually summoned one of the gases, so I'm counting. There's another one. And he'll occasionally sometimes enrage a little bit. he'll get a 100% damage buff, I believe it is, and a 50% movement speed reduction. At level 100, that's not really a problem, but if you feel like he might kill you somehow with the damage buff, you can easily kite him. He moves at 50%, so it's not too big a deal. Just make sure you don't hit him with anything. Just speed yourself up, don't slow him down, because at level 100, you really don't want to kill him before the 6 stacks, because that will suck. Also, what you have to make sure you do is don't kill the clouds. If you kill one of the clouds, wipe to reset, because it will never actually spawn all 6 if you kill one, which, again, sucks. But it's just what you have to keep your eye out for. Now, I'm actually going to skip ahead now until I have all 6 clouds up and running. Right, and as you can see, our 6th stack just spawned, and they all start moving together. And as you can see there, they will start to form a big mob. Once that forms, you want to kill the big water elemental looking thing. Whilst he's up, General Vizax does have a damage immunity shield, but he falls over very easily. Once he's dead, feel free to kill General Vizax. And once he falls over, we'll get our achievement. There we go. So yeah, bit different from usual, which is kind of nice. It's nice to have an achievement that isn't simply hit the red button, then beat it up. Okay, so now we move on to the big bad, our last boss, Yogg-Saron. Now, when you come to the room, you'll see this woman standing here, Sarah. What you have to do is pull the mobs that she'll spawn to her, then kill them. When you do that, she'll take some damage. I think it takes 5 mobs to bring her down, so just do that. Really nice and easy. They're one-shottable at level 100, so it's not too big a deal. And once you've killed that last mob, she'll switch to the next phase. Oh no, even more tentacles! Right, now to get a really easy achievement, all you have to do is target her at the top and type in /kiss. You'll get the nice achievement there. A lot of people forget to do it, just remember, free achievement points, why not? I'm losing a lot of sanity here, and I'm not entirely certain as to why. I think it's because I was looking at her. If you lose all your sanity, you'll get mind controlled, and then that'll be that. Because if you're as I said before, if you're mind controlled during a solo fight, you'll die. So make sure you don't lose all your sanity. To do the achievement for this, what we have to do is do this without activating any of the Guardians. If you don't want to know what I mean by that, just ignore every other NPC except for the bosses you've killed. Just don't speak to the bosses you've killed. If you speak to them, it will give you the option to ask for their aid. If you do that, that will count as a Guardian. So just don't ask for any of their help. Kill Yogg-Saron and you should get the achievement. For this phase, all you really have to do is survive. Don't lose all your sanity. You can kill the tentacles if you want. It kind of makes things easier later, I guess, but not really. Until he summons those portals you can see right there. Once he summons them, dive in, and you'll be teleported to one of various different scenes. At the moment, I've got a scene where the Lich King is torturing a prisoner. I believe it's not Fordrin. I can't remember that character now. The Alliance guy from the Wrathgate, the new Lich King. Now, when you're in these little memories, there'll be mobs around that you can attack. Kill them, they'll turn into tentacles. Once you've killed all of them, you'll be able to have access to Yogg-Saron's brain. Whilst you're in these rooms, what you have to be careful of is that you don't look at the skulls. If you look at the skulls, it will drain your sanity, and like I said before, if you lose all sanity, you are boned. You also do have a time limit before Yogg-Saron's brain basically purges the entire room and sends you insane. So once it finishes spellcast, as it nearly does that, I don't do this in much time at all, but thankfully level 100 you can one-shot the brain. Once you've killed the brain, you'll notice Yogg-Saron's barrier is down and he's lost a lot of health. Now it's just a straight burn him down and you'll get the achievement. As you can see, I get a lot of achievements there. The reason for that is that you get an achievement for every Guardian you don't have. You know, I think it's 3 lights in the dark, 4 lights in the darkness, 3 lights in the darkness, 2 lights in the darkness, 1 light in the darkness, and then 0, no lights in the darkness, or alone in the darkness, I believe it's called. The one we were after is 1 light in the darkness, but you might as well do no lights in the darkness because it's just as easy nowadays, and you get more achievements. And if you've done everything right, you should get your Glory of the Ulduar Raider achievement at that point. You'll notice I don't have it. I'll show you why in a minute, but assuming you've got the Glory of the Ulduar Raider achievement, you'll have your mount as well, which is well earned. Just looking over his loot, kind of going to miss Ulduar. I don't miss running through it every week because I'm too stupid to remember to use raid lockouts, but ICC is pretty fun. We'll do that next time. So as you can see, I still haven't done that bloody Drake achievement. I hate that thing. Iron Dwarf Medium Rare is the most hated achievement for me. So unfortunately I don't have the dragon yet. I'll have to come back here and get it. So yeah, as per usual, a very sad zombie because of that dragon. Oh well. Next week should be ICC, and that should be good fun. And now it's time to go to the fair with bits and bobs. So this week, as I said in the news segment, we're just going to be going over some cool new stuff that's in the Darkmoon Faire. I've genuinely really enjoyed doing this, and I hope you guys will enjoy it too. Right, so a lot of new toys have been added to Darkmoon Faire. This is one of them. Yeah. That's a little Sonic the Hedgehog reference. Despite my Nintendo upbringing, I do quite enjoy that. That's quite cool. And I'm going to show you how to get it. Now, to get this achievement, you have to do the turtle ring toss game perfectly. You have to get all 10 rings on him. Now, if you see this graphical bug in live, which I doubt it will make it to live, but in case it does, just type in /reload and it will fix itself, see? Right. Now, a lot of people have been complaining about this achievement because the turtle has actually changed its AI slightly. The way that the turtle acts is now completely different. And, in my opinion, it's actually a bit easier if you know what you're doing. Now, you'll notice that the turtle starts off in the center, which is where I have my mouse pointed, and he'll go off, and then he'll run back. The way to get the rings on him every time is to wait until he walks away, with your mouse in the center. Once he stops, throw the ring, and by the time that the cast time and the little throwing animation finishes, he'll be in the middle to catch it. And you can do this every single time without fail. If you follow these instructions and you get a little bit lucky, every now and again it can lag or something like that and you'll get a bit screwed over. But just try again. You'll be able to get your Sonic the Hedgehog ring, and I think it's a kind of a cool little toy. It's a nice little reference. So yeah. The main thing that has been added with Darkmoon Faire is the addition of these races. Now, these races were actually in the beta for Warlords of Draenor, but for whatever reason actually never made it to the initial release. But they're in now, and they've definitely changed a bit. Originally you had the Zeppelins, and the icons weren't as obvious as they are now. Now the icons are a lot more obvious, and as opposed to those Ys you can see there, you had Zeppelins. This is my first ever run of it, and yeah, it asks you to do sort of like a mini race originally. So we'll give you an introductory quest which asks you just to touch the first post, and I'm just doing that now in the background, and oh my god, I suck. I'm just watching this back, as due to the way I do the recordings, I record them and I commentate later. And I'm watching this, and man, I'm terrible at this. I've gotten better since then, though I have done this at least 40 times, I think, trying to get the 11 tolls, which is currently very difficult. But yeah, basically the idea is that you run through these little goalposts, they give you a speed boost. Running over a spring will shoot you into the air in the direction you're facing, which can be good or bad depending on which direction you're facing. Sometimes it can be a massive pain launching you into the ocean or into a tree or whatever. The boots give you a speed boost as you'd expect, and the wires slow you down and stun you for a little bit. So those are really, really bad, obviously. You want to avoid those at all costs. So after you've done the first little quest, she'll give you some Darkmoon Faire tickets. And she should give you access to the next leg of the race, which will be the actual real race. Now, there should be a real big race as well. However, I don't think that that's in the PTR at the moment. You're also meant to be able to race with different mounts. But again, that doesn't seem to be in the PTR. I've heard that everybody will get the same mount on the same day, but I don't know how much evidence there actually is for that. Again, I think we're kind of grasping at straws when it comes to this, because it has changed quite a bit since we saw it in the beta. So I'm hoping that we'll get access to a bit more of the race soon, because at the moment we've only got the real race, not the really big race, which has been linked into achievements. And some of the toys that you get from the real big race look really cool. You're meant to get a checkered flag, which will increase your mount speed by, I believe it's 20%, but I'm not certain, it might be 10%. So the idea is that that will increase your mount speed, and it has 50 charges, I believe. So if you can get more of those, that'd be awesome. Just straight up 10% extra mount speed, yes please. There's also a little Zeppelin combat pet, a cannon, which is apparently similar to the cannon you get from the Goblin or Gnomish workshop in your garrison. Among a few other cool looking prizes, but because the real Brig race doesn't seem to be in the PTR, I can't show that to you guys. If the PTR does update with the real Brig race, I'll probably cover that in next week's news. But yeah, I'm just showing you my first run of the real big race, which involves tagging all 4 different posts and going around in a big lap. And yeah, the collision on some of these things feels a bit dodgy at the moment. It's not the greatest, but I don't know, it's not the worst either. As you can see there, I did it within 16 tolls, which gets me a good few achievements. The lowest I've managed to get this so far, I believe, is 13 tolls. I think I got it to 12 tolls once, so getting it to 11 is very, very difficult. And like I said, I've done this, I think, at least 40 times now. But it's fun. Yeah. Like, it's definitely a good laugh, and I can see why this is being added to the game. It's probably the funnest thing in the fair at the moment, in my opinion. So, yeah, I think that we're gonna... I don't know, I feel like maybe it'll get a bit nerfed in terms of the difficulty, just because 11 tolls is so difficult. I'm actually going to show you one of my most recent runs. I'm making use of the ability now. The ability jumps you to the next goal and makes you immune to the little wires as you go, which is really handy. And one thing that I have figured out in this run is that you can actually skip goals. You don't have to go through each and every goal in order to complete the race. You can see there, I actually skipped one of the goals in order to save myself some time, because it's just, you cut out a whole corner of the race. You do have to touch all the little balls there, those. Oh, yeah, don't hope on skipping those. Those are important. But there's not much more to say about it, to be perfectly honest. It's definitely a fun little game. You can get loads of little toys from it, and it's a really welcome addition. You can get tickets from this as well. However, you can only get 1 prize ticket a day. The daily will give you the prize ticket the first time you do it, and then every time other than that, it will just let you do it to try to get the achievements and the pets associated with it. And I seriously do wonder whether or not this is going to get nerfed. As you see, that's what happens if you hit one of the spiky things. You'll get slowed. But it doesn't hurt this run too much, to be honest. But yeah, a really fun little game, and I am probably going to keep playing this repeatedly when it comes to live. So this week in Storytime, I'm going to be telling my own story about how I got into World of Warcraft. I'm also going to be announcing the winner of this month's time card giveaway. So first, the story. Now, when I first started playing, well, before I started playing WoW, I was actually playing another game called RuneScape, and I played RuneScape for absolutely years. Me, my brother, and my best friend just spent hours and days on that game, and we loved it. And eventually, another friend of mine in high school tried turning me onto WoW, and I was a bit like, don't know, WoW costs money. I felt a bit like I wouldn't enjoy it. It seemed a bit too, I guess, elitist. You know, WoW was always RuneScape's biggest rival, I guess. But nowadays, obviously, WoW won big time. But I remember back in the day, there was so many WoW versus RuneScape videos, and I felt like you had to pick sides, so I didn't really want to play. But I went around to his house, and he was running through Scarlet Monastery on his Undead Warrior. And he was, I think he was level 30... level 35-ish? I remember he was leveling up his first aid, and he was trying to get his mount, and I noticed that every single time he went through Scarlet Monastery, he leveled up. It was library, yeah. And it just looked so cool to me. What really struck me, no loading screens. You got one loading screen when you're going into a zone, and that was it. That was really, really cool to me. Because I used to play RuneScape, like I said, and on my internet connection, we were getting load screen after load screen after load screen. I used to play this thing on dial-up, so... you know, I was constantly in load screens, and the fact that you loaded once and then you were in this huge 3D world, and oh my god, it looked amazing. When you've played nothing but something like RuneScape for years, and then you get WoW, a lot of people like to shit on WoW's graphics. And personally, I still think the graphics are alright. They're not the best, but I think they're fine. Like, the aesthetic does carry its lack of graphical fidelity quite well. But man, back then it was amazing. So I remember I tried getting into it. I I bought the game, and I bought the game the day I had installed Vista on my desktop, which turned out to be a terrible idea because nothing ran. I remember I had to eventually go to a local computer shop and ask them to take it off. So yeah, that wasn't fun. Bloody Vista. Anyway, so after I got all that sorted, I started playing WoW on a druid. I can't remember what that druid was called now. It's in an account long gone. But I thought it was alright. And I got to level 20, I think, and I really didn't enjoy my druid back then. I don't know, I hadn't picked a spec because my friend said he'd sort out specs for me, and they looked like this big, complicated, terrifying sheet. And I think eventually I nutted up and picked some specs, and I think I picked a couple in, because I liked bear form, so I picked a couple points in bear form, and I liked the fact I could heal myself, so I picked a couple of points in healer. Oh, it was terrible. But eventually I got really quite bored of my druid, and I felt like I hadn't picked the right class. But I also didn't want to level up a new class, because every single time I tried to level up a new class on character select, I would just see my druid, which was already had so many hours put into him that I just couldn't be asked to go back and redo that. So I quit. I went back to RuneScape for, I don't know, I want to say probably about a year, until eventually I thought, you know what, I'm going to give WoW a try again. You know, let's give this thing a second shot. So I did. I logged in, and I think I made my... Yes, this is the time where I made my mage. Flaming Death. Yes. That is an awful name, and yes, I was a young teenager, please forgive me. I still have that mage. But I made Flaming Death. Oh god, that name. And I had a lot of fun. Like, I leveled him up to 70 eventually. And then Wrath of Lich King came out, and he's the first thing I ever got to 80. And then I leveled up my Death Knight, and, you know, the rest is history. But, yeah, me getting into WoW was all due to that one day that I spent at my friend's house, and he showed me Scarlet Monastery, and that blew my mind. It was so cool. So, without further ado, the winner of this month's giveaway is the Antisocial Goblin. I'm going to send you a message on YouTube just to sort everything out. Thank you very much to everybody else who sent their stories in. It was quite difficult to pick. I hadn't actually considered the fact that I would have to let people down, so I'm very sorry that you didn't win over everybody else. But yeah, I really enjoyed his story. This week, in order to enter for the next giveaway, I want you to tell me your stories about your old newbie habits. When you started, what silly little newbie things did you always do that you look back at now and you're just like, oh god, why? For me, one of my old newbie habits was, on my old mage, I used to gear for nothing but intellect. Now bear in mind, back then, intellect didn't give you any spell power, so it just gave you mana, I believe, and I was so afraid of running out of mana, I got nothing but intellect. Like, I would pass up anything for intellect, and I never ran out of mana. I didn't do any damage, like, ever, but I never ran out of mana. So yeah, any stories like that, please post in the comment section below, and I'll enter you for next month's giveaway. And that's it for this week. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you did enjoy, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And if for whatever reason you didn't enjoy, please feel free to dislike and leave in the comments below your suggestions for future episodes. I really do read all of the comments. So yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy this, and I will see you next time.